everybody, it's Rebecca here at Why Mermaids, and today I'm going to be reviewing You by Caroline Kepnes. So You is the third-person narrative of a guy named Joe who is stalking you. Yep, that's right, he's stalking you. Well, and by you, I mean Guinevere Beck, the character that he is stalking. So he's a stalker and he's stalking you, and it's the story of how he gets closer to you and how it's creepy to have a stalker. So the two main characters are, of course, Joe, who is the stalker, will do anything he can to get closer to you or to Guinevere Beck, or Beck as she is to her friends, and Beck is the girl who he's infatuated with. She's got a lot of problems of her own though, and she's a very pretentious snob who is bigger than her britches, basically. So some things that I liked about this book. I really liked the narrative style and the narrative choices. I like that it's a third-person story. You don't read a lot of that, and I thought it was really interesting and a big risk for the author to take. I liked that it kind of took me out of my comfort zone and made me feel uncomfortable because it challenged me, and it made me think twice about how I post on social media and get inside the head of a character that I normally wouldn't. Like, what is it like to be a stalker? It kind of makes you double question that. I liked that it did make me think twice about liking an unreliable, creepy, weird, terrible person as a narrator. You sometimes sympathize with him over the other characters, and I thought that was really brave and really interesting as a writing choice. I also really liked the message and the themes about that, about the social media, about how not everybody is as they present themselves to be, and how you can kind of sympathize with people that you might not necessarily think you can sympathize with, but also how things shouldn't necessarily be taken at face value. Now on to the things that I didn't like. And there are not a lot of things that I didn't like, but they're kind of big things. So I hated the characters. They are all pretentious, hoity-toity assholes, basically, who are, too in love with themselves, have a superiority complex. They think that they can do no wrong, and that, I mean, they're like characters who, I'm a writer, but they don't write. Or, you know, they just spend all of their time and money wasting it away on stupid stuff. They don't value friendships, or they don't value people, and they don't value emotions. They don't value life as much as what they can do for what other people can do for them. And I just really had problems with them because they were also privileged jerks who didn't care about the feelings of other people but latched on to other people and wanted them to do things and were selfish, and I just didn't like them. I didn't care about them, so it was hard for me to like feel and be shocked by things when I was like, well, I don't like you anyway. So there. And especially because it is third person, so you are this jerk. I was not a fan of that. It was not, no, that is not me. It's not me. Plus she's so like naive and dumb. Like, come on, come on. You didn't see that coming? You're dumb. You're dumb, bia. The way I like to put it for the characters, it's as if Bret Easton Ellis and Lena Dunham had kind of come together and written this book. These would be those characters. They're all just jerks. I also really didn't like the sexual nature and sexual content of this book. I was not expecting it, although perhaps I should have been. It was at times borderline erotica, and I just felt uncomfortable reading it. It was very disconcerting, especially since you're getting the perspective of the narrator, Joe, who is the stalker. I didn't appreciate that, like, pretty much once you hit that point in the book, that's what a lot of it was, and I just kind of didn't like that at all. I wish it had not been in there, because then I just felt like squeamish and uncomfortable whenever I picked up the book. Ugh. Ugh. And although I couldn't put it down, I wanted to figure out what was going to happen. The plot was kind of redundant, repetitive, and predictable. I could kind of tell exactly where it was going. For the most part, most of the way through, it was very easy to figure out, and I kept hoping that the ending would shock me, and then it didn't. It was a big letdown, and I just found myself hating myself as I was reading it, hating the book as I was reading it, and it just wasn't a good experience, and so I was not a fan. So I did give this book 2 out of 5 stars for the reasons that I mentioned previously. I was not impressed with it like I hoped I would be. Some similar books to kind of get the same tone. If you're looking for something similar, you did like this book and you want something similar, or you've read these other books and maybe you're like, hey, I really liked that, maybe this is more up my alley, even though Rebecca didn't really like it. So some books for you that you might want to check out or that are similar. I already mentioned Bret Easton Ellis, but Less Than Zero and American Psycho are both really good, similar tone and feel to you. Both of them are, American Psycho has an unreliable narrator and kind of talks about privilege in New York and getting inside the head of someone who is not a nice person. And Less Than Zero is about a guy who comes home from college break in LA, and it talks about privileged youth there and kind of what they're doing. So it kind of mirrors the side characters a lot, and the characters themselves in You. They kind of have a lot of crossover there. I would also say Gone Girl because of the thriller nature and the not knowing what's going to happen next kind of feel. And also the fact that all the characters are terrible, but I did really like Gone Girl despite the terrible characters, unlike You, because I just didn't like You. But I love You, just not You. And the last one is The Talented Mr. Ripley, which I have not read, but I have seen it. It has Matt Damon in it. And again, it's kind of getting inside the head of a psychopath, thick stalker who is weird and creepy. And yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's got Jude Law and Matt Damon, so you can't really go wrong there, right? Right. Well, that's what I thought about the novel You by Caroline Kepnes. Let me know some of your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you agreed with me or if you disagreed with me, let me know why. I'd love to chat about it down in the comments. And that is it for me today. I'll see you next time.